Joining us now is State Senator Don McEachin. He is number 2 honcho in the state Senate behind the Godfather, Dick Saslaw. He's chairman of the Senate Democratic Caucus. Hey, Senator, great to have you with us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. And now I just got to tell, when you see Saslaw today, you know, he's normally on Friday. He couldn't make it. And we have heard that his disappearance today is tanking our ratings. So tell him he needs to get back on. I got a bunch of people.
I didn't know I was leftovers, Jeff. Okay.
Well,
okay,
no, you're not. But I mean, you get it. See, if I had you and Saslaw, we'd be at the top of the charts. We'd be up there competing with Piers Morgan. Oh, he's off the air. That's right. I forgot. Well, you get the message. Okay,
we'll do the best we can today.
Now, Senator, let's get to Medicaid expansion. I want to start there. Big issue. Obviously, it's the elephant in the room, and I want to start with you proffered a proposal yesterday to House Republicans, and you said, "Look, you guys want to audit Medicaid? Okay, we're on the team. We'll audit it, but we want to start it and audit it as we proceed." How is that viewed?
Well, we haven't gotten any reception or we haven't heard back from the House leadership yet. We've heard from their press people, and they make it sound like it's a non-starter. But look, I think the first thing that needs to be understood is that we're not talking about Medicaid expansion. We're talking about Marketplace Virginia, which is different. It uses private insurance providers to expand coverage, offering Virginians premium assistance that will give them access to private coverage. It has a work component. Medicaid doesn't have that. It has a co-pay requirement. So there's some differences. So again, this is Marketplace Virginia. And what we did yesterday said, look, we're listening to folks. The Chamber of Commerce says, you know, how about a quadrennial audit? So what we said was, okay, that's a good proposal. It doesn't have to be our way or the highway. What we're looking for is to make sure the uninsured are insured and make sure those dollars that Virginia taxpayers are paying out to the federal government come back in. You know, we're losing $5 million a day on this. There's $1 billion, that's $1 billion with a B, savings over the next 9 to 10 years on this program. We need to get started with this, and we're hoping that by showing that we're flexible, that hopefully our Republican colleagues in the House will come around.
Now, Senator McEachin, Republicans in the House, they put a statement out yesterday. They said, look, you guys, the Democratic caucus in the Senate, you guys had a meeting with Governor McAuliffe, and there doesn't look like there's going to be any compromise. And basically somebody has to blink here, because if both sides dig in, you can't really compromise. Government shuts down. What happens?
Well, what we need is that for the people of Virginia to weigh in. That's why the governor is going around the state now, talking to people, making sure they understand the issues, visiting hospitals that are subject to getting shut down if we don't implement something like Marketplace Virginia. You know, Jeff, what troubles me is that we are part-time legislators up here.
Right.
Yet when you look at the health insurance we get a full-time health insurance benefits. We have health insurance benefits paid for by the taxpayer that rival that of private industry. And yet, it's still our House Republican colleagues are not willing to extend medical coverage in the form of Marketplace Virginia to uninsured people, many of whom are working. You know, let's make sure your listeners understand, we're not talking about people who are sitting at home watching game shows. These are the working poor, people who go out every day, go to work. Maybe they can't get 40 hours worth of work. Maybe that's why they don't have the benefits. Maybe the company they work for just can't afford to offer the benefits. They make too much money to get into Medicaid as it's presently constituted, and they don't make enough money to get into the insurance exchanges. So they're caught in that gap, and that's what Marketplace Virginia is for. So how we can, on the one hand, take taxpayer dollars to give ourselves Cadillac insurance when we're part-time legislators and not be willing to help these folks who get up and work every day with Marketplace Virginia just boggles my mind, Jeff.
Well, it's I think what the Senator McEachin, what the Republicans are saying is, look, you know, there's no free lunch, there's no free money. Eventually, the federal government is going to have to cut the spigot off, and then Virginians are going to be caught holding the tab, and it's like it's like $2 billion. So it would bankrupt the state. I think there's a concern there that eventually the free money goes away.
Well, Jeff, here's the thing. They can't point to a single program that the federal government has shut off like that. And they have to acknowledge that about 21% of our budget already is based on what? Federal dollars. That's right. We're spending federal dollars every day. So what they are actually doing is trying to pick and choose between which federal dollars we should take. And again, we're talking about Virginia's most vulnerable population. But remember this: we have a kill switch in this bill. If that's part of Marketplace Virginia. Again, how it differs from Medicaid. It says that the federal government ceases to keep with its obligations, the program goes away. Look, trust me, Jeff, this is not the program I would have written. This is a program that comes together through compromise. Our governor told us to come together and find common ground. This Marketplace Virginia is actually the brainchild of a Republican senator by the name of John Watkins here in the Richmond area. And so, Republicans and Democrats on a bipartisan basis have come together to offer this plan. So, there has to be compromise in this process. And I just continue to fail to understand why the House Republicans aren't prepared to compromise.
Common Sense News Time 721. This is the John Fredericks Show. We're with State Senator Don McEachin from the Richmond area. He is number 2 guy in the state Senate majority, chairman of their caucus under the Godfather, Dick Saslaw. Now, Don, let me ask you this. Let's get to what John Miller, your colleague, said on my show yesterday. Senator Miller suggested the way out of this logjam was simply for Governor McAuliffe to sign an executive order expanding Medicaid. Now, Miller said he didn't know the legality of it, but he said, look, Bob McDonnell said that he was going to do that when he was governor, and because the federal government is paying for all of it, it's not an appropriation. So he's like, hey, I think Governor McAuliffe is just going to have an executive order, and that's going to be the end of it, and it's done. Then we had Chap Peterson on, your other colleague, right after that, and he said, I don't think that's legal. Now, you're also a lawyer, Senator McEachin. Can Terry McAuliffe expand Medicaid by executive order or not?
Well, I'm a lawyer, and that means that I'm smart enough to know that I have to research something before I answer the question. What I am concerned with right now is making sure that organ of government, the Virginia General Assembly that I belong to, does the right thing. Sadly, if this plan doesn't work, there'll be plenty of time for people to open up their books and get out their highlighters and figure out whether the governor has that power or not. Right now, the question presented is, what's the Virginia General Assembly going to do? And that's what I'm concerning myself with.
Okay, Senator, we got a couple more minutes. Final question. I want to get to this nefarious, vulgar comment that was made yesterday by Bob Fitzsimmons, who's an official with the Republican Party of Virginia, then House Speaker Bill Howell, easy rider, calling for him to resign. But this just seems to be a continual thing that Republicans do. What's the deal with these guys?
It boggles my imagination when I look and see what's happening in the Republican Party. Of course, there was that comment a couple of days earlier. A Virginia state senator on the other side of the aisle referred to women as pregnant women as hosts of a child. These things are demeaning. These things are not the way a civil people ought to conduct themselves. I can't comment on what the speaker asked the Republican Party official to do, because I'm making my business not to tell them how to run their party, and hopefully they won't tell me how to run mine. But it is disturbing. It does not help political discourse. And, Virginia works best when it has two civil parties, or more even, battling it out in the marketplace of ideas. and not being distracted by antics like this.
Senator, I've got one more minute. Final question. If the Democratic Senate caucus does not blink, the House Republican supermajority, who is opposed to Marketplace Virginia, does not blink, we get to the end of June, what happens?
I don't want to speculate. I believe with all my heart that we're going to put together a budget, and we're going to put together a budget that has Marketplace Virginia in it. You know, we still haven't heard from the people of Virginia. We're going to hear from them as the governor goes around. And look, at the end of the day, my House Republican colleagues have to be statesmen. We're sent up here to do the people's business. We're not sent up here to say it's my way or the highway. And look, history shows what happens when House Republicans shut stuff down. It blows up in their face. I think my House Republican colleagues are smarter than that. They know that every time they've shut down government, be it at the federal level or some other state level, it has not worked out well for them. So I'm looking forward to us getting our work done.
Okay, we're out of time. We want to thank you for joining us, State Senator Don McEachin from the Richmond area. He is chairman of the Senate Democratic Caucus in the Senate, second in command under Dick Saslow. Hey, Don, thanks for being with us. Have a great weekend.
Thanks for having me. You too. Bye-bye.